Talk UK, Pro Beez.
Yes, pep talk. Yes, pep talk.
Once again, I'm delighted to be joined by the man himself, Johnny Nelson. How are you, John?
You catch me eating again. It's just that timing. And I'm trying to think, do I wait till I finish my food and do chat something? Nah, we're going to do both at the same time.
Listen, so, I know the rule. After training, you've got 45 minutes to get the protein in you.
The golden hour. It's the golden hour.
Hey, so what's been happening anyway?
I've literally just got back in from working out, and now it's just get a little bit of something. I can't wait for the gym to open back up again, but I just have to create a little workout for myself. So that works out. That works out well.
I hear you've been training, and I hear that Gem Oaks, your PR lady, has been beating you in the sprints.
She ain't beat me in no sprint. She's mad. She's talking foolishness. She's not fast enough for that.
Hey, look, we mentioned off air Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr. Now, a lot of people were pleasantly surprised by how the fight was. I thought it was all right.
It was, they were basically body sparring, and I know it doesn't sound that glamorous, but that's what we train on. That's how we train with body spar. I'm talking like I still fight. Most of the time, we'll body spar 90% of the time, and then when we've got a fight coming up, we open it up and open sparring. So that's basically what they did. But you know what? I think I was more impressed in the condition Mike got himself in, because he'd blown up massively. So he got himself in really good condition. So good for him. Good on him.
I must say he kind of astounded me by his fitness, because even when the fight was done, I felt like he had more rounds in him.
Yeah. So it was 8 2-minute rounds, and there was a lot of holding. But you've got to remember, these boys, the pace is gone. They're no longer the fighters they were. So they've got to compensate cut corners when they're boxing. Otherwise, they're going to gas out. They've got to walk through a fight instead of trying to sprint and run through a fight. They've got to step instead of trying to chase a man down. So you've got to come. The frustrating thing is when you get to a certain age, you've got the wisdom of knowing what to do, but your body can't do what you want it to do. So that means, the pace you want it to do it at. And that's why they always get out foxed and beaten up by somebody that's younger and even half as good as you.
Do you think it was a draw?
It was an exhibition. So that's it. It was an exhibition. So I didn't look for a winner or a loser. I don't think it's important. So that's how you do these things. You raise both hands to say, look, you just give us some entertainment. And you know what? They made some money out of it. There was an interest there. And Mike said afterwards, he did his little piece, then went viral, him in the pads. And then he had the amount of people that had phoned him up saying, why don't you do a fight? And Ping, he worked for him. Listen, I'm hearing, it's reported he made 7 million off it. 7 million. That's not bad. 54-year-old, retired over 15 years ago. That ain't bad.
Hey, it gives some people hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hint.
Yeah, exactly. So it's easy to say you wouldn't do it, but someone said I'll give you 7 million or 5 million to go out and do an exhibition. I do them still now. I think the last time I did it was with some ex-rugby player for charity. You do it anyway, but it was just on a bigger scale. So I think it's a perception of people that's probably more out of hand than out of control than actually the event itself. And if people want to watch, Mike and Roy Jones have made money out of it, so good on them.
Hey, I must say that I'm a big fan of Adam Smith's commentary, but Snoop Doggy Dogg. Wow.
Oh,
wow.
Bad. This is his I'm going to use it somehow. He said, one thing, no, 2 things you can't play. You can't play boxing and pimping. And but you know what? He had a layman's eye of a sport that he liked. So a lot of laymen talk like they know it inside out. They're like the Angelo Dundee. And he brought a bit of relaxed comedy to it, and he's saying to you, what do you think, Sugar Ray? And so I actually liked it. I actually thought it was really good. And You know what? I can see him being a guest commentator on some
Yeah.
real deal fights now, some big fights now.
And you know what's so funny when Jake Paul knocked down Nate Robinson and he was doing like a prayer. Oh Lord.
That's what I'm saying. He was funny. He was funny. I know. Sometimes it's probably a serious situation when a man's hit down and you're unconscious. You wait till he gets up before you start celebrating. But I thought Snoop was funny, man. I rated him. I did rate him massively.
All right. You talk about the seriousness. We saw a massive fight over the weekend. Joyce defeating Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is getting a lot of criticism. Yeah, left, right, center. But the question to you, Johnny, is, was Daniel Dubois right to try and preserve his health, his eye health?
Yes. And I'll probably get criticised for saying that. Now apparently he's fractured his orbital socket. So basically means he's broken a bone in his head. So you can prepare for many things. You can prepare for being knocked out. You can prepare for getting a broken nose, a cut lip, a closed eye. You can't prepare for the kind of pain, the excruciating pain you get when you break a bone in your head. So many fighters and fans that have never boxed before will say, "Nah, man, they've gone out of this. You got to stretch him out of that place," and that's great when it's not you. But you imagine being in there, and all of a sudden you feel a crack down there in your head. It's not a cut; it's a crack it's cracked down there. You're thinking, and you're getting touched. You're thinking, "Nah, that's just not right." Then all of a sudden, the seriousness of the situation and of what you're in, it doesn't seem as more important than your sight or your life. So he's thinking, I love this sport, but no, man, I ain't giving my sight for it. And many fighters will say, no, I'm going out of my shit. You know what? Bullshit. Proper bullshit. Because an example is this, and it's probably right out there. If a dog bites you, you shouldn't drag your hand away from it because it'll rip you. You know, the teeth will rip you. So if a dog bites you, let it sink his teeth in, and it'll hurt, but let it sink his teeth in, then the cut won't be as bad unless the dog's dragging you all over the place. Instinctively, any human being is going to pull the hand away. Any human being is going to pull the hand away. You're going to do that instinctively. So what he did was instinctive. He got popped in the eye. He knew it wasn't right. That feeling wasn't right. So the downside was he had probably a delayed second to take the shot, think, no, this ain't right, and took a knee. The reason why he's probably getting more stick than, say, Kell Brook did for the same injury is because he wasn't getting the shellacking. He wasn't in a beating. He wasn't losing. He was giving more than he was taking. So all of a sudden, you saw it looked like a bully being bullied, hitting the eye and think, oh, I don't like this. I like giving it, but I don't like taking it. So this is why he's getting a load of stick, saying he quit. Yeah, he did quit. And you know what? I'm telling you now, if people are proper honest with themselves, and maybe my mindset is different because I'm no longer an active fighter. And at time, I can remember a time when I said, I'm going to die here. You know, but people are honest with themselves. And you're boxing, you get thumped in your face. And it's like, and you know something's cracked in your head. I don't care what people are saying. I'm telling you now, most people would have done it. Most people would have done it. It's easy to play macho man saying, nah, I'm going out my shield. I wouldn't have done that. And trust me, I said Joyce would win. So it's not as though I'm making excuses for Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is an excellent talent coming through. Frank Warren took a risk and it didn't pay off. And Frank Warren's usually a good time in regards to when he puts fights in. He took a risk, it didn't pay off. I expected Joyce to beat him, because Joyce's pedigree, professional and amateur, outweighs Daniel Dubois. Again, I'll go on to the argument of what people do is if we keep saying he's good, he's brilliant, and everybody starts saying it, you actually don't check to see if he's good, he's brilliant. You just believe what everybody's saying. So everybody's running away with the hype. I call it the bullshit machine. All promoters do it. Eddie does it. Frank does it. You know, they've got to sell. They've got to sell. You know, you've got to make you believe in their fighter. And so with Daniel, he was 7-1 odds favourite to win. Baffled me. Because I'm thinking, what are you doing? My only worry was this. I don't know if it was with you or with somebody else. I said, my only worry with this fight is Joyce gets hit too much. And you can't get hit that often, that much as a heavyweight because someone will turn your lights out. That was my only worry. But Joyce basically beat him with the basics. And Joyce is slow. Joyce is not agile, as in ring craft agile. But what he did, his basics won. But his basics did a job. Daniel Dubois' hardest battle now is this backlash. Because if some people keep saying you're a quitter, you're a coward, you're a quitter, you're a coward, you're a quitter, you're a coward, you're a quitter, you get angry at first, but then after a while, when you start to doubt yourself, you think, well, am I a quitter? Am I a coward? I know this because I've been accused of being a coward. But then what you do is you get yourself thinking, no, you know what? Just because they say it don't mean it's true. So he's going to go through the emotions of having to meet people and think they think I'm a coward, they think I'm a quitter. You know, he's going to have to go through those emotions. And if he gets through it, he'll come back a stronger fighter. If he doesn't, it'll affect every aspect of his life, in and out of the ring. So whoever is close to him, whoever has his ear, it's going to be a long, hard slog to get his confidence back up again. It's like you working and you have a bad day at work. You mash something up at work and you walk in, the boss cusses you out. Cussing's done. You think, why? So that day you're pissed. Boxing's different because all these people that are watching you all have an opinion. And some of them think they know better than you. And they want to tell you, yo, you boxed rubbish there. Yo, you were no good there. Yo, you bottled it. But he's not going to meet all these people in 1 hour, one day, same spot. He's going to meet them day after day after day after day. He'll meet for 6-7 years. Every time he fights now, that is going to be mentioned. Every time he gets in with an opponent's going to look and think, and his trainer's going to say, he's a quitter. He's got quit in him. He's got quit in him. We've seen it. Put the pressure on him. So every fight that he's going to have from this point onwards, he's going to be twice as hard as what it should have been before, because fighters are coming in now thinking, if I put enough pressure on him, he's going to quit. So they'll try a little bit harder. So he's a young man. He's 23 years old. And again, remember, I've got no reason to justify and make excuses. But what I'm saying is, making you look at it from the human aspect to say, he's young. This has happened. This is part of his career, stepping stone in his career. If he gets through it, then he'll come back a good fighter because he's a good fighter. He's just a green fighter with an experienced fighter.
Is it going to be even harder in fights to come with possible opponents now targeting the eye from now on?
Yeah, without a doubt. And the other thing is this: mentally, he's going to think, how much confidence have I got in the eye? Cal was the same. When Cal got hit in the eye again, first of all, he thought, it's the flashbacks of what could have happened. So if he's gone to hospital and they've said, you could have lost your sight, you could have done this, you could have done that, that's always going to be in his head. And so he's got to somehow get through that to get over it. Talk to Anthony Ogogo.
Anthony Ogogo,
he put a tweet out, putting an olive branch out there saying, yo, talk to me, because I understand where you're at. And it's very, very hard. This is going to be a hard time mentally and emotionally for Daniel Dubois. But because we're concentrating on Daniel Dubois' performance, we're not actually giving credit where credit's due for Joyce's performance. Joyce, he did the job. He was strong, he was cool, he was calm, he was fit, he was precise with that jab. He's beating my man up with a jab from round 1. And he beat him with the proper basics.
Could the corner have intervened to save all this public backlash that Daniel Dubois is getting? When
the camera's on the corner, it cuts away. And there was one point when we heard the cornerman say something like, you're in the fight game now, son. Now, I don't know if Daniel had said to his corner, my eye, I can't feel my eye, whatever. I don't know. We don't know. Only the cornermen know. If he did, they should have been very concerned about it. He was still in the fight. It's not like he wasn't in the fight. You thought he was one good shot away from winning the fight. So he was still in the fight, but I don't know what was said in the corner. We can only speculate. We can only speculate on how he looked, how he grimaced, how he that line we caught onto. But we don't know what was actually said. If they knew, this was their gamble, and I think what he did was he prolonged his career, but he's made it harder. But if he wants it and he wants it enough, he's got to stick at it. If he wants it enough.
Has he been moved too quickly? Because Eddie Hearn is kind of said today that he's been matched wrong, moved too quick.
Yeah. That fight, yeah. So as for the British Commonwealth and European heavyweight title, he was in against Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce was an accomplished amateur and an accomplished professional so far. It's just opportunity that's stopped him from getting any further than what he is, or he's found an opportunity. Now he's in a position to say, look, I'm at the gateway of that world fringe. For Daniel Dubois, in comparison, his success, and he's I'll say he's a decent fighter, decent offensive fighter, not a defensive fighter, because he was getting hit with amateur jabs, went snapping head back, and it's like he didn't know what to do with them. He didn't know how to anticipate them. He's thinking, now I'm just going to walk you down and blast you out. He's had to learn a hard lesson. And fighters have done it in the past. You know, they've been given a lesson. They've had to go and lick the wounds. The prime example is Nigel Benn. Look at Nigel Benn when he first lost to Michael Watson, and there was all the hullabaloo about Nigel Benn, and he got shamed up. But Nigel took himself away, moved to Miami, reinvented himself, came back again. Boom, twice a better fighter, and it made him a hungry fighter as well.
Frank Warren has since responded on IFL TV to the criticism of matchmaking and said, look, didn't you matchmake Kell Brook and Golovkin?
Yeah. Listen, this is big boys. This is a big boys argument, and I hear exactly what you're saying. It's a big boys argument, and so in that, Kell Brook's thinking, you know what? I've got an opportunity of making a load of dough here, and I think I've got to beat this man here. And Eddie probably said to him, look, there's an opportunity there. Do you want it? He ain't twisting any of his body's arm to take the fight. And Cal was in that position. There's an opportunity. You're going to make some money. Do you want it? Do you want it? If you lose, you know, what's the downside and the upside of losing and winning? You know, depending on the performance. I think for Daniel Dubois, was there another path? Was there another option? I think at that time, his development at that time could have been with different a different caliber of opponent, which would have brought him on and shown him different sides. If you keep knocking people over, you're not learning much apart from how to knock people over. So maybe up to that point, he should have had different shapes and sizes. But what he showed confidence, he showed self-belief, but he just showed he was very naive as well, very green.
Dillian Whyte was subject of this whole campaign from Frank Warren before the fight and Queensberry that Daniel Dubois should fight Dillian Whyte. Now, looking back at it now, what would you say would have happened if they fought?
Let me just say something. So Dillian posted something which surprised me with Frank Warren, because he's a classy guy, on camera at least. And he was, I'm surprised with him, because he was mocking Dillian's demise against Povetkin, as if to say your mandatory's gone. He did a little singing ditty with it, and I'm like, Frank, man, you're bigger than that. What are you doing? And obviously everything else that's around it in regards to Dillian fighting, you know, about Dubois. So that's why Dillian came out and said, calm as a bitch. And Frank has got to swallow it and think, all right, you got me. I was just surprised at Frank doing that. It wasn't classy. You know, you can undermine, or you can have a dig at somebody, but you got to do it in a classy way, man. You'd expect that from a little novice or a new promoter trying to make a name for himself. But when I saw that, I'm thinking, Frank, you better than that. And he probably will look back and think, maybe he shouldn't have done that. Maybe it was to try and goad Dillian. I don't know. But I was very surprised. So Dillian's reaction, because Dillian, I think, is not the kind of guy that celebrates in someone's demise. Any fighter. So I don't think it was more aimed at Daniel. It was more aimed at Frank, and that's just how it was. So I get it. I think, why you dance with the devil, you're going to get burned, and that's what happened.
All right. Lastly, Johnny, Billy Joe Saunders takes on Martin Murray. Old beef resumed.
Billy Joe Saunders.
He's got to be in his wits, definitely.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And let's be honest, Martin Murray is not quite who he was many years ago. He has the knowledge, but has he still got the engine? Has he still got the pace, the desire, the hunger? I don't think he has. I think Billy Joe will just be a little bit too much of a handful for him. I'll be surprised if it was anything else. I'm looking forward to the fight. It's coming Friday. But Martin Murray, he's a soldier. He'll go in there and give it his all. It's just that you've got to figure out how much all has he got left.
All right, Johnny, it's been a pleasure once more.
Pleasure's all mine.
I'll let you chow down your healthy meal while I tuck into a bit of fish and chips a bit later.
All right, now listen. God bless you. Take care.
Thanks, Johnny. Pep Talk, Johnny Nelson. Subscribe.